Welcome to True Vibes. Today let's talk about our ancestors' struggle for independence in Africa. Africa, a continent of breathtaking landscapes, storied civilizations, and rich culture since stood as the cradle of humanity. But by the late 19th century, its map was redrawn not by its own people, but by the ambitions of European powers.
During the infamous Berlin Conference of 1884 to 1885. With a stroke of arrogance, its lands were carved up and claimed, forcefully introducing systems of exploitation, subjugation, and colonization. Yet, beneath the weight of foreign domination, Africa's unyielding spirit remained. The path to freedom began long before the 20th century, but it gathered momentum after World War II. In 1945, the global devastation of war marked a shift in colonial power dynamics. European countries found their economic and political stability shaken, while Africans, many of whom had fought in the war, were inspired to demand liberty and dignity. The African independence movement was born, not in a moment, but as a cascade of struggles, led by visionaries and revolutionaries. One name etched in history is Kwame Nkrumah, the man who guided Ghana to become the first sub-Saharan country to gain independence. Born in 1909, under British rule, Nkrumah envisioned an Africa unfettered by colonial chains. In 1947, he co-founded the United Gold Coast Convention, a political movement pressing for self-rule. Yet his methods soon deviated. He embraced a more active, mass-driven approach through the Convention People's Party. Arrested in 1950 for inciting civil disobedience, his cry of "Independence now" echoed across the Gold Coast. And on March 6, 1957, Nkrumah stood victorious, proclaiming Ghana free, a monumental spark for the entire continent. To the north, Algeria waged one of the bloodiest fights for independence. Since French colonization in 1830, millions of Algerians had endured disenfranchisement and economic oppression. Led by the National Liberation Front, under figures like Ahmed Ben Bella, the Algerian War of Independence raged from 1954 to 1962. An estimated 1.5 million people died in the conflict. But on July 5, 1962, Algeria achieved sovereignty, proving the steep cost of liberation. Further south, in Kenya, the Mau Mau uprising shook British colonial structures. Between 1952 and 1960, freedom fighters like Dedan Kimathi and Jomo Kenyatta led indigenous Kikuyu warriors against oppressive land policies and labor systems under British control. Thousands were detained or killed. Yet their blood fertilized the seeds of freedom. On December 12, 1963, Kenya emerged free, with Kenyatta as its first president. Meanwhile, in South Africa, apartheid highlighted colonialism's cruel endurance. Figures like Nelson Mandela, of the African National Congress, became symbols of resistance against the system of racial segregation, which gripped the nation from 1948 until Mandela's release in 1990. His fight didn't end colonial rule, but it dismantled its racist cousin, apartheid, in 1994. A different, yet essential battle for true African freedom. Names like Patrice Lumumba in Congo, Julius Nyerere in Tanzania, and Haile Selassie in Ethiopia reverberated across the continent's struggles for self-governance. By the 1980s, nearly every country in Africa had achieved independence. Yet challenges remained: neocolonialism, economic dependency, internal conflict. Today, Africa's journey is far from over. The struggles of men and women who dreamed of an unshackled continent remind us of the resilience it took to rise. From the ashes of hardship, Africa now stands, not as a passive witness, but as a key player on the global stage. Its fight for independence was never just about land or power. It was a reclamation of identity, a promise to generations yet to come. As the sun continues to set over Africa's majestic landscapes, it shines on nations forged by struggle, hope, and triumph, carrying forward the dreams of who refuse to surrender their humanity. This is Africa, unbroken, resilient, rising.